Yo, what's up? Stubby Killer here to bring you guys a Banlist. This is Banlist discussion time, baby. Let's go. Let's start with the ban cards. Scythe. The fact that this card literally stops you from special summon from the extra deck, it's just insane. Scythe can happen anytime, especially with DP in the format. You go Predator Plant, and then you have Dag down board. Dag this at Scythe on your opponent's following opponent's turn. Boom, Scythe comes out. It's pretty insane, man. I'm not gonna lie. Scythe is nuts, man. This card has to go. It's unhealthy for the format at the moment. For our next band, we have the Samorg Link. I'm saying this because I don't think they're gonna be attacking the Lunalage engine. It's fairly new. This is kind of like a hit to them. The fact that you can just constantly either put out the barrier statue or put out a negate on either play, and it's consistent because it's from hand and deck. So you can just do it on either player's end phase, which is nuts, and the card can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. This card can't be targeted as well. It's just insane. It would bring the consistency and the power down of the deck because, dude, there's many times literally I played the Lunar Ledge deck. I versed that deck. I nib them. They hold their resources. They do all their stuff, and they still end on the Samorg and an Omni Negate. It's just baffles me how insane that deck is. And next culprit, Predator Plant. This card is just freaking nuts, man. The fact that you can just boom put two monsters down, like it doesn't have to be different names. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just insane how literally people would use this after people dumped resources and hand traps to prevent them from going off. Just two monsters. The fact that combo decks can literally go on this line after their normal playsmen stop and they can put on a DPE and a Dragoon, or a Dragoon is it's just nuts. This card, I mean, it's been reprinted now. Konami's made this money. Maybe it's time for them to hit. I mean, Konami's more of a business, so I think they might hit it now because they made the money off of it. That's it for the bands. Let's go to the limited section. Fractal, bro. Yeah, the fact that this card is literally, I literally watch Lineage. They don't even normal summon yet or use the Tire Brigade engine to go off yet. They usually use their in archetype cards. Then after you nib them, they do this dump, boom, still play through nib, um, dump kit, get a search, dump Novrog, get a search, summon down Cuirass or something, or one of the Tri Brigade cards, and just still play. Like, it's just insane. This card has to at least go to one. I think one would actually bring the power down even more. I know this sounds like some harsh hits, but they're not going to go for the Lunalich engine, and Tri Brigades have been worn on the ban list for a while. For my other limit, I have Nerval to one. It's either Fractal to one or Nerval to one. The fact that this card searches, the fact that you can just dump and get a free search from this, yeah, Pure Tri Brigade's gonna suck, but the Lunalich engine just makes this insane. Like, so many times they literally just play through Nib, dump this off of Fractal, and then get a free search and continue to play. That's just crazy, man. It just lowers the consistency, lowers the power. The deck's still gonna be playable even with these cards hit. The Lunalich engine is just insane. On to our another limited card, Drytrons. I'm thinking either putting Alpha to one or Nova to one. The fact that if you hit the top decks, Drytron becomes the best deck. It's insane. Drytron's gonna become one of the best decks because you can argue it's top five, even though it's not seeing much play. It still has Orange Light and it still has the Herald Negation. I know the Herald Negation right now ain't currently that strong because of cards like Dark Ruler and Droplets running around, but you can still literally Orange Light, like three Orange Light. It's still a powerful card. So Drytron's the one. Boost the power, lower the consistency down. You don't hit Ben 10 because I know there's Herald support in the future. Or I know it's Fairy support in the future, so just so they can sell Fairy support. I have Mystic Mind the one. And I know people hate this card. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this card, but at the same time, look at it like this. if like if I'm going into a combo board, even if I'm a budget player and I don't own drop lists or stuff like that, Mystic Mind Lily is the best go to for me. I know people will complain about this card, but it's like the same thing. Like if I'm running playing decks that block me off from playing the game, like a barrier statue or Scythe dot deck or DPE, it's not that's not enjoyable either. I'm not saying Mystic Mind's a healthy card, but you got to look at it like that on the opposite end. I don't know. Konami always been like this card's been dodging over the previous FNL list. So I don't know what Konami might do to this. They might ban it. They might limit it. They might keep it at 3. I don't know. But I mean, at least if this card's at 1, and if you draw the out, you don't have to deal with it no more. I think that's a fair. I think that's fair enough for me. We're gonna talk about another card, Chaos Space. I mean, you hit Drytrons, you hit Tri Brigade, you slap Fender Knight on the wrist. Dragons become one of the best decks. If arguably it's still in people's top 5 of one of the best decks in this game. This deck is so consistent. I think hitting Chaos Base to 1 would definitely do it. It slows down the consistency. It still has its plays. Hitting Chaos Space to 1 or Quick Launch. I have one more hit for Dragons. Um, Seals. The fact that they don't get a consistent follow up. I know they only summon this turn 1, but there's some times where they won't have a near as a grind game because Seal does facilitate grind games and stuff like that. Putting it to 1 would definitely slow the deck's consistency and grind game. You think about it once. Okay, do I want to save the seal for Nib? Or I want to save the seal for now or later? It it slows it down. The deck still is gonna be a powerful deck. Honestly, I think this deck's still gonna be one of the most powerful decks, even with the hits. That's it for the limit section. Let's go for the semi-limited section. I have Gazelda too. Look, this might sound a little biased, but it's not. Salad's really not doing anything. Like you get like few 1 or 2 tops, and that's only if people really commit to the deck. Because obviously, there's better. Virtual, it's a better version of Salad. Sword Soul is a better version of Salad. Like Salad struggles, and Nib literally just destroys his deck, and his deck has a really bad time going second. Gazelda 2, honestly, I think that would help boost the power and the consistency of the deck. Deck's really consistent as it is, but giving us 2 Gazelles would definitely warrant people to maybe want to pick up Salad, maybe not, but or I mean, it's either Circle to 2 or Gazelle to 2. Like I don't see them putting Circle to 2 because the fact that it's a quick play searcher, and I understand it either or. But so many other decks in Yu-Gi-Oh have searchers of 3 that just does the same thing as Circle. So I don't understand how this. I understand this though because it's a quick play searcher, and that's a little powerful. But I mean, they can if not, they can put Zelda too. On to the next semi-limited card. I have Sermon of Endymion. Pendulums rarely even see play as it is. I think this would help boost the consistency of the pendulum strategy. I know Konami might not, because Konami's not a fan of pendulums, and a lot of people was not a fan of pendulums. The pendulum mechanics is a little shaky. I ain't gonna lie, it's a little crazy. But the fact that pendulums haven't been seen play for the past couple years, it just no. Pendulum needs a boost. I mean, long as Electrolyte don't get off the list, pendulums can have every freaking crazy scale they want. For another card that comes off from 1 to 3, a Regeki. I mean, you have a cards like Lightning Storm that does a better job than Regeki. I mean, I know Regeki's not a hard one to return, but there's so many ways to play around Regeki. There's so many cards in this current game that literally have destruction resistance, so I don't think Regeki would make that much of an impact. For another card that comes off 3, Reasoning. This card sees no play. I mean, even the top meta decks wouldn't even utilize this card in his strategy. Like, what Sword Soul's not going to use it. It's going to it's going to waste resources. Lunar Legend ain't going to use it. It's going to waste resources. Like, even Dragons, Ritual, like, this card's really going to, I don't think going from 1 to 3, it's going to be seeing play because the card's at 3. it sounds dumb on paper, but this card's not going to see a lot of play. We've been seeing a lot of cards that were powerful come off from 1 to 3, and it just hasn't been seeing play. Scorecard by Joker, man. 2, Panel, like I said, same reason why I have Endymion going from 1 to 2. It's the same reason this card should go to 3. Is that Pendulums really haven't been doing anything. Like, you have to be like a hardcore Pendulum fan to like want to even test to play the deck. Like, this deck is not doing anything, and it hasn't been doing. It hasn't even. It has barely been showing up for the past couple lists and formats. So Pendulum has kind of died off. And even when Electromite was here, like Pendulums wasn't even seeing that much play because there's so many other strategies that don't have to like deal with so many stuff. Like Pendulum loses a draw, Pendulum struggles around playing hand trap. So Shokubai Drill could come to 3. It should. I see no issues with that. Danger Nasty to 3. I mean, I think it's fine. At 2, no one's really gonna complain about it. At 3, I don't think people are gonna complain about it. As long as Uchino showing the other and Jackalope doesn't get off the list, I think it's fine because I don't think you're gonna be running a pure danger deck. This card coming to 3. I haven't been seeing much play at 2 because no one really run danger decks. Okay, this card. Why is this card not at 3? I know they really don't, because Konami's kind of like a business. True Draco hasn't done anything, dude. The fact that this card is still at 1 just baffles me. I mean, Diagram is at 1, so True Draco is not gonna really go crazy and like go crazy and make an impact on the meta. No, Diagram's at 1. Stack's way too slow with Diagram at 1. There's no masterpiece. Carter Demise is also at 1, so this deck's not gonna really do anything. To another card I think that come through, Emergency Teleports. Yeah, this is kind of indirect boost from Phantom Knights, but like there's a lot of psychic. There's other psychic decks. I mean, what? There's Virtual. It helped them. There's Cosmos. I mean, Cosmos don't really see play. I mean, this would kind of boost consistency of Virtual World, help them out a little bit. I don't think I see a problem with this card going. I mean, you can say synchro decks, but like synchro decks, like pure like those what synchron decks, they don't really even see that much play. I think this card going to 3 would be fine. Another card, Draco Face Off to 3. Why hasn't this card got off the list? Like Pendulums don't really see play. Like I said before, I mentioned earlier, it's really not gonna do anything. I don't think this is gonna make a huge impact. I think it's perfectly fine coming off of the list from 1 to 3. It's perfectly fine. Last card I have coming to 3 is Mirage Delio. At 1, Salamangreats really ain't doing much. It does boost the consistency in the plays for Salamangreat a little bit more, like way more than it did before. But like coming to 3, honestly, it can help the deck a little bit, but I don't even think people would play more than 1 because you really need your extra deck slot because Salamangreat is not the same how it used to be like years ago where you just boom, 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 resources, boom, 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 consistency. It's like it's just literally access code talker the deck. Literally, that's Salamangreat now. That's it for the cards I have coming off, and coming from 3. Sorry about that. This is the cards I have coming off. I have Astral Grass Sorcerers. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the Pendulum strategy, but I've been seeing in this game like Pendulum hasn't been getting any play at all. There's you can argue and say this card comes to 1. You can argue, you can make an argument. And for the last card I have coming off the list, Fairy Tale Snow. The fact that this card literally requires what 7 cards from your hand or graveyard. I mean, I know this sounds crazy. Like back then, if you have like any Burning Abyss, like Block Dragon's not even here no more. That one card, that one deck. I mean, it's a freaking Book of Moon, bro. Like, okay, wow, you book 1 monster. That's it. So many strategies can't utilize this. Pure Shaddolls, maybe. Burning Abyss, maybe. I don't even think they'd use this card. Book of Moon's at 3, and it's really not making an impact. And that's it for the ban list. you guys have any questions, comments, and concern, leave them down in the comments below.